Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match. Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Andy Murray, Wimbledon 2023 second round. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Tsitsipas comes back on this Friday and does what he needs to do, which is win 2 sets in a row to defeat Andy Murray in 5 to advance to the third round and secure the biggest win that he's ever had at Wimbledon in his career by far. I did make a video after the first 3 sets of play where I'd say both players played a great level. Fantastic. I was so impressed with both of them. It was such a great match to watch. It was, are we going to get a drop off here on either end? Is somebody's level going to drop because it's going to be a new day with, the body's going to feel different. The conditions are going to be different. Mentally, it's different. So it's not a great assumption to just think, oh yeah, they're just going to be the same. Well, first of all, Murray's groin/abductor, which was my main concern coming into the match based on that incident that happened on the penultimate point of Thursday, it seemed okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, for Tsitsipas, there wasn't really a drop-off. And as far as the first serve and forehand go, it did pick up where it left off on Thursday, and it was the dominant force on the court. And I have long said when it comes to Tsitsipas on grass, the weakness really has to do with breaking serve. But you look at what he does on serve and all the skills he has, not only with the serve and the forehand, which is really enough. I mean, we could stop right there. But if we want to get to the transition game and the net play, and we want to go that far, then we can go that far, and it continues to be very impressive. And all that is going to really help Tsitsipas be a really difficult player to break on grass. It's all about the return game, and that's where Steph has suffered on this surface, and we'll get to that in a moment. But when it comes to Tsitsipas holding serve and continuing the dominance on his first serve and his forehand, yeah, it was still immaculate play in that respect. I do think that one thing went off the rails for Steph for most of the fourth set, and he made the correction, which is the level of aggression that he was playing with on his one-hander. Now, throughout the match, he had been pretty hesitant to slice his one-handed backhand, which is great. That's smart. Like, at the end of the day, you need to hit your better backhand. And just because you're on grass, like last season, once Tsitsipas got on grass, he's like, oh, I'm on grass. I'm just going to slice every time. And it's like, buddy, your slice isn't good. So if you're going to slice every time, that's probably not a good play. Like, you got to hit over your backhand. And that adjustment has been made. In this fourth set, though, I thought he was just trying to do too much down the line, a little bit too flat, kind of pushing the limit of the miles per hour that his backhand can really achieve with safety and consistency. And he was actually missing on the backhand, which was making it too easy for Murray. Because we've talked about how good Murray is at locating and targeting Tsitsipas's backhand. So I think it's very important that Steph stays solid on that win. But that's what he did in the tiebreak in the first set. So by the end, the fourth set. So by the end of the fourth set, especially if you look at this crucial point, which was maybe the most important point of the match at 3-all, it turned into the longest rally of the match, and Tsitsipas just stayed solid on his backhand, and Murray asked him to hit a lot of them. And then ultimately, it was Murray who got impatient and went for kind of the point-ending attempt on his backhand, which was a short slice down the line. Not a good decision because of how good Tsitsipas is, how quick he is moving forward. So he got to the ball, and he ended up hitting a forehand approach and an overhead finish. But that was only possible because Tsitsipas stayed so patient and so solid on his one-hander. And then, he did it again on the next point. He was able to kind of hit his backhand without missing. So I thought that was a key adjustment for Tsitsipas. But for Murray, there was a bit of a drop-off. the drop-off came in two areas: first serve percentage and aggression. Start with first serve percentage. I don't always talk about this as a stat. I think sometimes analysts, pundits, commentators, whatever it may be, they can fixate a little bit too much on first serve percentage when it's not always a key. But in this match, it was a key, because you look at how Andy Murray was having to play Tsitsipas in order to survive against him and keep it away, basically not give Tsitsipas a chance to play his aggressive forehand. The big key to that was to gain every advantage possible off of Stefanos' weaker returning, particularly the backhand return, and, obviously get your fair share of free points. That's important. But also, even when Tsitsipas gets it back, you can get to work on the offense, and you can keep him under pressure and on the move, and suddenly he's not hitting aggressive forehands, and you're putting his backhand under pressure, and hopefully you're getting to net if you need to finish the point. The first serve was just so key in the first three sets, and Murray, especially in the fifth set, it just wasn't there. He was missing it, and now we were playing neutral rallies where Tsitsipas's forehand was by far the biggest ground stroke on the court. It was never a really reliable proposition for Murray to just dominate from neutral with how well Tsitsipas was hitting his forehand, unless his backhand was going to be erratic. And remember, his backhand was a little bit too erratic in the fourth set until he adjusted and started going for less. But once that adjustment happened and Murray wasn't making first serves, now what's the plan here? Now what's the path to victory for Andy? And we also saw him we saw Murray lose the plot on his confident ground strokes. The speed was way down. We talked about how important the speed was, particularly in the second and the third set, where it emboldened Murray to go so hard at the forehand that Tsitsipas couldn't hurt him. So you could go hard at the strength, open up space on the backhand side, and ultimately get a lot more out of attacking that backhand. Whereas if you are lacking in the ground stroke speed, if you go to the forehand, you get hurt. And if you go to the backhand, Tsitsipas is able to run around it far more often. And again, you get hurt. So massaging the ball was never an option in this match. I just thought Tsitsipas was playing way too well, and Andy was going to have to hit big off the ground. And he didn't do it today. He did not. He also got tentative on the net approaching. Now, those two things are related to each other, because you're not really going to get to net unless you are creating opportunities, generating short balls. You're not generating short balls if you're not hitting the ball hard. So that's where I thought Murray dropped off. Now let's get a little bit granular. All right. Passing shots. Murray really struggled with his passing shots. And in the fourth set, there were two golden opportunities. 2-all, 30-all on Tsitsipas's serve. Backhand pass went right down the middle, and Tsitsipas could put away the volley. 3-all, 30-all. Backhand passing shot. Great look. Right down the middle. Easy volley put away for Tsitsipas. Let's go to the fifth set. 5-4 deuce. Trying to serve out the match for Tsitsipas. This time on the forehand. Good look at a passing shot. Lob. Shank. Easy put away for Tsitsipas at net. I even think there were more than that. A lot of situations where Tsitsipas came in on average to mediocre approaches, and Murray wasn't making the pass today. Goes back to the confidence off the ground of, can you hit to small targets and can you hit big? Now, I mentioned the passing shot at 2-all and 3-all. Let me go to the next service game. 4-all. Huge moment here. Massive. It's 15-30. Tsitsipas hits a first serve that Murray returns on the backhand on a sharp angle. and it's called out. It's called out just wide of the sideline on Tsitsipas's to Tsitsipas's left on the backhand wing. It was in. Hawkeye confirmed it was in. Andy did not challenge. If Hawkeye Live was in place, which it will be at all ATP events in 2025, then Tsitsipas was looking at a low slice backhand to start the point, and Murray easily had more than a 50% chance, easily more than 50. I don't know exactly what it is, but he was in a great position after a phenomenal return to go up 15-40 double break point at 4-all in the fourth set. Instead, it's 30-all, and Tsitsipas is able to hold. And actually, the game goes to deuce, and Tsitsipas holds. Even if Murray challenged, then still statistically, it's likely that Tsitsipas wins the point anyway because he has a first serve and, gets to start from scratch. But obviously, that would have been still a better outcome for Murray than not challenging at all. So it goes from great return to out, and you lost the point. Huge swing there. Absolutely massive. Now let's talk about the break of serve in the fifth set. Mind you, Tsitsipas never broke serve. We were in a fifth set. Tsitsipas had never broken serve, as well as he was playing. And he was playing great. But again, as I said yesterday after the match, just because Tsitsipas is playing great doesn't mean his backhand return is good, because it still wasn't. So how are we going to find the break in the fifth set? The answer is, at 1-all, Murray doesn't make first serves to Tsitsipas's backhand. And I'm going to go through every point here. But there were 6 points played, and only once did Tsitsipas land a first serve did Murray land a first serve to Tsitsipas's backhand. At love all, Murray tried this late sneak in off of a Tsitsipas slice, and Stefanos knifed it very nicely, and Murray couldn't handle the low volley. At love 15, Murray serves to the forehand. Tsitsipas makes a nice deep kind of block return. Murray ends up playing a short slice approach, and Stefanos comes up with something unbelievable. He is running in and comes up with a stunning forehand slice lob from his shoelaces to go up love 30. At love 30, Murray double faults. Oh, by the way, the first point, that was a second serve that Tsitsipas was able to just make a forehand out of, run around a bit on the deuce side. So now it's love 40. Murray misses first serves on the next 2 points, but he ends up winning both of them. At 30-40, this is when Murray makes the first serve to the backhand for the first time in the game. And, Tsitsipas makes the strong block return. The problem is this is a numbers game. And if you only ask him to do it once, he can do it. But is he going to do it, 3, 4, 5 times in a single game? The answer is no. And that's why he couldn't break serve in the first 3 sets when Andy was making his first serves at, over 60% of the time in all 3 sets, over 70% of the time in the third set, and, going 70% to the backhand side. I don't have that statistically confirmed, but that's an estimate. Now we're looking at a situation where Tsitsipas has to do it over and over again. But in this game, only once. But he does it. But guess what? We're not done. Because just because Tsitsipas makes a good block return doesn't mean it's completely over. Murray still has a chance here. This is going to be a great example of what I'm talking about with Murray off the ground, just playing without enough force. Needs to be more forceful than this. So Tsitsipas hits a rushed inside-out forehand that lands right in the middle of the court. Right? It's right in the kill zone. And Murray has a forehand. He's got all day to set up for it. And what does he do with it? He goes inside out. So he's going to the Tsitsipas backhand. But guess what? It's too slow. There's not enough width. And what is Steph going to do? He's going to take a couple steps to his left, and he's going to hit a forehand. Really? That's a cardinal sin to me for Andy Murray. When you have all day and the ball landed right in the middle of the court, for you to really, what should be a ball that you attack with your forehand, and your next shot is so weak that Tsitsipas gets a runaround forehand. Can't happen. So Steph, of course, is going to do what he did all match long, which is hit a phenomenal forehand inside in. And Murray ends up netting this forehand on the run, which he had to try to take down the line. So it was a forced error on the forehand inside in by Tsitsipas, and that was the break of serve in the fifth. In a match where breaks were unbelievably difficult to come by, that was the nail in the coffin as the Tsitsipas serve and forehand continued to be so much to handle that it was going to take a game for Murray where he returned exceptionally well and executed off the ground exceptionally well. And those two things never came close to coming together, combined, with Tsitsipas never really letting off with a loose game, never having a service game where he missed a cluster of first serves. It was more excellence from Stefanos. And when you zoom out and you look at this, it's such an unbelievably quality performance from Tsitsipas, where he played well for 5 sets in a row and handled a tricky situation, going from playing late at night to coming back on court the next afternoon in different conditions, having to win 2 sets in a row. And for Andy Murray, you just feel for him. You feel for him because he played a great level as well, a level that is really a second week level. He belonged in the second week, but he's an unseeded player, and this is the kind of thing that can happen. I would implore that Andy recognizes how well Stefanos played, despite the fact that Tsitsipas's grass court resume is not good. He had never beaten a top 50 player on grass before this. He really made it come together in this match. And although his weaknesses were still weak, his strengths were unbelievably good. And that in itself is very difficult to deal with when you're looking at someone with the firepower that Stefanos Tsitsipas possesses. Now, in the next round, it's Laslo Djere. Kind of assumed it was going to be Shelton or Cressy, the big servers, but Djere, who doesn't have a good career win percentage off of clay, is starting to get his bearings, starting to pull off more good results on both hard court and now grass. But it's a good draw. Ultimately, it's now a good next couple rounds, an opening for Tsitsipas, a real opportunity. And look, if his level doesn't drop off, he will continue to win. But this has been a tough schedule. This is 3 matches in a row, 2 5-setters in the opening 2 rounds. So we'll have to see how he handles that. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.